Okay, proud of the way our guys played on Saturday. They had that determined look in their eye. I could see it before the game. Saw it at halftime. They were not going to be denied, and they handled the adversity well. We did go through some adversity in that game, as you do in just about every Pac-12 game, and they handled it extremely well. Um, I thought our defense was outstanding. Didn't allow Arizona State to reach the end zone against our defense. Gave up a couple field goals, and the rest of the points can be attributed to special team errors. And so, very good job by our defense. Offense, really the key there was to be able to throw the football. We knew going in that they were going to bring the pressure. They did exactly what we thought they were going to do. And Travis in the throwing game responded and put up nearly 300 yards throwing the football, and that really was the biggest key on offense. And Devontae, they did a nice job against Devontae for the first three quarters. He got loose in the second or the fourth quarter and ended up with over 100 yards again. But it was tough sledding in there for the first three quarters. But overall, a good win at the halfway point now of the season. Just a third of the way through the Pac-12 season, but we're sitting in pretty good shape. Still a lot of football left. I'll continue to say that for the next several weeks. But to be able to be 2 games up in the loss column, just 3 games in is. That doesn't happen often, so we're fortunate to be in the spot we're in right now. But got to keep playing. Got a tough opponent this week in USC. I don't think anyone will argue that they're year in and year out the most talented team in the Pac-12, and got a lot of weapons. And so we've got to be at our absolute best this week to have a chance. Siale Fakaloatonga is lost for the season, and so that's a downer. He's a good player, and he's a great kid, and it's unfortunate. But we'll miss him. He'll be back next year. He's got another year left, and so we'll just get him better and get him ready for next season.
Kyle, you look at what your run game kind of struggled for 3 quarters. How are you feeling about your ability to pound the run against a defense like USC's, and especially without Siale, who was a valuable blocker?
Yeah, it'll be a challenge. We knew going in that the running game, I mean, they fill all the gaps with those 6-man pressures and play zero coverage behind it, and it's tough to run against that. Now, the flip side of that is if you can get through that first wave like we did in the fourth quarter a couple times and get through that initial pressure, then you got a chance for big ones. But it's going to be tough, and or it was tough, but it's going to be tough against USC. They got great personnel on defense. Sua Craven's the linebacker is outstanding, and their down guys are athletic and physical. So it'll be a challenge for us, just like every single week in the Pac-12. But we've got to continue to run the ball well, and the only thing tougher than us running the football on Saturday was Arizona State trying to run the football. They had 15 yards, and so everyone talks about how tough it was for us to run, but our run defense was actually far superior to their run defense.
You brought up the run defense. Can you explain what worked out so well on Saturday, and just in general, what's different about this defense than in years past? Anything that makes them unique, or what's clicking so well with them?
Well, we've been pretty good on defense for a lot of years, in our opinion. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but that's been something that we take pride in. And this year, I mean, the defensive front is playing very good against the run. We're number 1 in the Pac-12 in run defense. Last couple of years we're a little more prolific rushing the passer. This year it seems to be more of a run-stopping front. And we still got 5 sacks in the game Saturday. We had some struggles early in the season getting sacks, but I think it all starts up front. To answer your question, great defense starts at the line of scrimmage, and our front has been playing very well this season.
You're number 3 in the nation, but you're actually 3-point underdogs going into USC. Can you take a stab at why that might be?
Well, they got talent. I say it every year, and I think every coach in the conference will agree that they've got a bunch of talent and a lot of good players, and that would probably be my guess as to why.
In the Coliseum's history is from their stat pack. They've won 75% of their home games. What makes it such a tough venue to win?
They have really good players, and their players are extremely talented, and they've probably won 75% of their games on the road as well. I would guess. That would be just a stab in the dark, but the Coliseum, it's a great venue, and it's one of the most storied stadiums in the country. But I think it boils down to the talent level that they have.
Hey, Coach, you said today, you also said after the game that your guys would not be denied. I'm really intrigued in that concept. When did you first realize that this group of guys had that characteristic to them, and How is that on the sideline when something like that kind of engages?
Well, you can see it from the very beginning of the season. These guys are very mentally tough. They've got a great work ethic. They're driven, and that stems from great leadership. We have the seniors on this team have done an outstanding job, and not just the seniors, just the leaders in general. We've got some underclassmen that are in that category as well. But they got a great approach to the game. They're tough, and they understand work ethic and how to prepare. And handling adversity is a big part of becoming a good football team, is being able to handle it, because you're gonna have things during the course of every game where things don't go your way and you got to fight through them. And no better example than when we had the problem special teams wise in the game, and didn't phase them, didn't phase the offense or defense. They just kept playing, and if anything, it may have motivated them, particularly the defense.
This is a two-part question, Coach. As far as the speed that USC has on offense, is this the fastest receiver core that y'all faced? And then also, how big of a test is this going to be for your secondary?
Well, we've faced some really good receiving cores several times this season. Is this the best? It very well may be. Juju Smith-Schuster is leading the conference in receiving yards, and he's their go-to guy. He's got, I think, 39 catches and a bunch of yards, and he's a tough matchup. Adoree Jackson comes over from defense and plays some receiver as well, and they got two or three other guys. And so it'll be a big challenge for our secondary, but we've been challenged several other times this season. They've responded, so we expect the same this week. We expect them to respond and play well.
Ken Scott had a breakout game for you against the Devils. Can you explain any reasons why?
Kenneth Scott's a heck of a receiver, and we probably, and we've talked about it earlier in the season, not getting him enough targets. And we're starting to get him targeted more, and he's responding. That one-handed catch he made down the sideline was one of the best of the season for us, maybe the best catch of the year. And so he's got a lot of ability, and Travis and him are starting to develop a chemistry. You can see that starting to build, and Travis has a lot of confidence in Scotty, and vice versa. And he's our guy. He's our leading target on offense, and we probably should have. Well, we've talked about needing to get him the ball more and get him targeted more, and that's what we're starting to do now.